What's up, everybody? Francesca here from the Florida Living channel. And today I am going to share with you why I moved to Venice from Orlando and why it actually is a great place to raise your family. You know, recently I've had a lot of families reaching out to me and asking me questions about what it's like to live in Venice, and some people that I've actually met in Sarasota while our kids were playing sports. You know, my son plays baseball and my daughter plays softball, so almost all of our time is spent on the baseball or softball fields for practices and games. So they have us very, very busy. One of the kids was doing a tournament and I was talking to one of the other moms, and they had just moved down here from Denver and were really not too thrilled about a couple of things about living in Sarasota. And she was asking me questions about Venice. And sure enough, the next thing you know, she's calling me to help her purchase a home over in Welland Park. And so I'm going to break down some of the reasons why I moved to Venice, why we brought the kids here, and why it's an absolutely fantastic place to raise kids if you're thinking about moving here with kids. A lot of people look at Sarasota, I think, before they look at Venice. I think Venice has had kind of a reputation for being a retiree place or a snowbird place. And that's certainly still the case. I think that I'm definitely younger than the average age population, but I also think that it is changing a little bit because of Welland Park and because of some of the other things that we're going to talk about today. That's really kind of changing Venice a little bit, and only for the good. One of the reasons why we decided to leave Orlando was where we were living was called Horizon West. If you're not familiar with Horizon West, don't feel bad, because a lot of people aren't, but I happen to have found this article that some people were talking about in one of the Facebook groups that I'm in for Horizon West. So they were talking about how this article was put out and that they didn't want more people finding out about Horizon West and moving there because they're so tired of it being crowded. And in the article, it was talking about not only what a great place it is to live, but how the population has just grown so much. Actually, they said over 255% in the last 8 years. So it just brought back so many memories when I read this article and when I was reading the chat in the Facebook group, because the residents of Horizon West just don't want any more people coming because they're so sick of how overcrowded it was. And that is basically where I was at starting in 2020 and moving on, because it became such a popular place to live. If you don't know where Horizon West is and you look at a map, it is actually just north of Walt Disney's property. So it's a 5 to 10 minute ride to Disney. And that is what draws in a lot of people and a lot of families. You can see fireworks every night in Horizon West, so there's a lot of appeal there as well. It is all A school systems too, for the most part, the last time I checked. So it's all new schools and things like that. So it's a lot of desirable things that are, attracting families to live there. I did love living there for a long time, but it did just start to get so crowded. The developer he had promised all of the residents a bunch of commercial properties that he was going to be bringing in there. We were supposed to get a lot of restaurants that were not your typical chain restaurants, but that were more like a boutique type restaurant. So he had this whole vision for the area, and I really feel like he kind of did the area a little bit wrong just by having the rents too high for a commercial space and by just building it out residentially first and leaving the commercial for last. So it was quite frustrating because every time a new restaurant would come in and open up, it would be so crowded because there's so many people waiting for something to open there that they could go enjoy as a family or whatever it may be. And it was just frustrating. I would go to Publix and I would literally be just bumping people's shoulders in the aisle. I couldn't see the groceries that I was trying to pick out. It was so crazy. And, thinking back, I didn't even realize how bad it was until my family and I came to Venice just for a vacation and to check out the area. I had learned about Welland Park, so I was very curious to see what the area was like and if it was somewhere that I could bring my family and if we would enjoy it. I've lived in Florida my whole entire life. Richard's lived in Florida most of his life, but we always wanted to move closer to the water. So we have been doing research for years on where we wanted to live. We had already taken off of our list Clearwater because it was too crowded. It was becoming too spring break-ish, and we just didn't want to be a part of that. And then we were looking at Lakewood Ranch, And we really loved Lakewood Ranch, but it reminded us so much of the Horizon West area, almost too much, where we were just like, it just feels like it is kind of crowded and it's not close enough to the beach. It's still a 45 to an hour drive. So when we heard about Welland Park and started learning about everything going on there, we came to Venice to check it out. And that is when I realized how crowded Orlando or Horizon West had become. I went to Publix in Welland Park, and there was hardly anybody in the store. Everybody was smiling at me as I was walking down the aisles. It was just so easy to have a conversation with somebody. It really is that small town charm that Venice has that really made me fall in love with this area. But I just didn't realize how crowded Orlando had become until we started driving around the streets of Venice. Now, if you haven't visited Venice, then you may not know this, but there's only really two major roads that you need to familiarize yourself with to be able to get around. That's 41 or Tamiami Trail that runs north and south across where the coast is. And then for east and west, you have Center. And then River Road is on the east of 41. It's to the east. So those are actually three roads. So there's three major roads. But other than that, it's fairly easy to get around Venice. Now, if you want to go a little bit farther north or south and you want to take the turnpike or I-75, that's another thing. So when you're driving around Venice, you have 41, you have Center Road, and then you have 75, which is not a toll road. And if you're driving around Orlando, besides all of the traffic and congestion, you have to pay and drive on the toll roads to get anywhere in any amount of time. So, it's just so congested in Orlando. Then you have I-4, which is kind of like a death trap. They're always working on I-4. They're constantly expanding it. I recently read an article not too long ago that said by the time the I-4 expansion is over with, they're already going to need to expand it even more. It's an absolute disaster. So, driving around Venice, there's no toll roads in the Sarasota, Venice area. And driving on 75 is quite easy. Getting around between 41 and Center is very easy. So, I don't even have to have my GPS up to drive around here. I love it. It's so easy to figure out where you are and to get your bearings once you move here. So these are some of the things that really drew me to Venice right away when we came here. But the other thing, and the reason why it was so important for my family to move here was, even though Horizon West had these A schools that were brand new and they were supposed to be so great, and they probably were, but they just had some really bad things going on that I already was noticing. The high school had been open for 2 years, and there was already 2 suicides at the school. Just some kind of alarming numbers. My next door neighbor had kids in high school, and so I got to hear some of the stuff from her, but some of these high school age kids were driving super high-end cars to school, and something about it, just the things that I was hearing from some parents with older kids, the things that were going on. Of course, drugs is always, I feel like, going to be top of mind. So anyways, when we came to Venice, I thought this is going to be a nice change. My daughter was having such a hard time making friends, and she was in 6th grade at the time. So I think a lot of it's the age, but some of it is actually just these kids and how they were raised. So coming down here, we checked out the Sarasota County schools, their ratings, and I talked to some parents about, what the schools were like. And I have to tell you, I was actually blown away by how easy it was to transition my kids from the Orange County system to the Sarasota County system. I feel like Sarasota County definitely has it together a lot more than Orange County. Now, that's the only thing I have to compare it to is the Orange County school system, which was it was just a mess. It was not organized at all, just to put it to you very easily. But so Sarasota County just seems a lot more organized. They have, it's easy to sign them up online once you know what your address is going to be. It's a pretty smooth process, and I did it in a matter of a few hours for both of my kids. We decided, okay, we're moving to Venice. Okay, we got, a house. Here's our address. I signed them up for school very quickly. I got my daughter enrolled in the Young Brain program very quickly. The teachers were so accommodating, so nice, so eager to help us. I was blown away. You just don't get that kind of help when you're in Orange County, Florida. I don't know why. Maybe because it's so overpopulated, they have so many kids that they're dealing with. But in Venice, because it's not overcrowded or overpopulated, I think they're a little bit more eager to help you, a little bit friendlier, because that's just the way people are here. But if you're moving here and you have kids, this is going to be a really easy process for you, and you're going to enjoy these schools. You know, all of the Sarasota County schools have an A rating, something I really didn't even know until I was doing some research for actually these videos that I'm doing right here. So I was pleasantly surprised to find this out. And also, the Young Marine program at the middle school has been great for my kids. It's teaching them leadership. They're volunteering in the community, just learning so many good things from their teachers. They're basically getting a private school education for free, I say all the time, because they have their own set of teachers and they just get a lot more attention, I feel like, and different things. So, you know, if you're moving here with kids and they're involved in sports, the other thing that was a pleasant surprise to me when we got here was just all the sports programs and what a big deal sports is in Venice. The Venice high school team, they have their football team right now just won nationals. So it's very competitive at the high school. I have friends that have told me that it's almost a little too competitive and that it's very hard to get onto some of these teams. My son's baseball coach, Scotty, he went to Venice High School, but he was actually playing baseball and going to another school. And he got scouted and transferred to Venice to play for their baseball team. And because he did that, he actually moved on to play for a college team. So just some really good sports programs that are going on here in Venice. And the whole Venice, community will come out and support these kids and watch them play their games, which I think is so awesome. So some of the things that we traded from living in Horizon West to living in Venice is we did trade having fireworks in our backyard every night, which I actually didn't even care about. It gets kind of old after a little while. I was born and raised in the Orlando, Florida area, so Disney to me is just not exciting. I definitely would trade Disney for the beach any day of the week, and that's what I did. So now, instead of having fireworks in my backyard every night, I have sunsets that are absolutely amazing. The Southwest Florida sunsets are just the best. You can't beat these sunsets that we have over here. So now, instead of fireworks in my backyard every night, my husband and I take long walks on the beach, or we just go have a picnic and a glass of wine and watch the sunset. It's so awesome. I love being able to get to the beach in 15 minutes. It's just been the best for us. So the other thing that I absolutely have loved about trading Orlando for Venice is the restaurants and the food, because Orlando is so commercialized with all of their food. And that was one of the disappointing things about Horizon West. We were supposed to get, some hyper local restaurants that were more boutique style. And instead we got an ale house. We did get a takeout P.F. Chang's, like a smaller version of P.F. Chang's. And then some other places, but nothing really that we were actually promised. So it was just getting really frustrating. Then we come down here to Venice and I try some of the best food I've ever had in my whole entire life. You can't be going to Finn's and having some steak or seafood while the sun is setting. Just the whole atmosphere is 10 out of 10. And of course you have so many other places like Crow's Nest, which is also amazing. And then you have Nokomo's, which has become one of our new favorites that we absolutely loved. If you're looking for a recommendation at Nokomo's, they have the best mussels that are steamed with garlic and butter and stuff. They're delicious. Definitely recommend those. Some of these places though, where it's seafood, and there's a lot of really great Italian food here in Venice as well. So you can go check that out on East Venice Avenue right downtown. There's some really good places like San Marcos. So we definitely appreciate the food down here a lot better than the Orlando commercialized food. And the best part about living in Venice is you can be close to Sarasota, but not have to live where all the traffic and the hustle and bustle is. So for me, I still love to go to the UTC. I still love to go shopping, but it's only a 30 to 45 minute drive, which I will gladly do to just go shopping with my daughter instead of living right in that hustle and bustle. A lot of my clients prefer to live closer to all the restaurants and the shops, so then Sarasota is a great option for them, or Lakewood Ranch. But for me, I was so happy to be able to separate myself from people a little bit and get some elbow room and then just drive 30 to 45 minutes to go to the UTC. You know, the UTC I've mentioned here before, but it has you covered. Besides being a mall with a Dillard's and a Macy's and a Saks and all that kind of stuff, there's several outdoor parcels around the UTC. It really just has everything you could possibly be looking for. Ulta, Dick's Sporting Goods, Lowe's, Michael's. There's a Home Goods across the street, a Total Wine, and Trader Joe's just opened across the street from the UTC. So they have that going on over there. I believe there is a fresh market in that area as well. Now, if you're moving to Venice and you're into like fresh market or Trader Joe's and all that stuff, I am going to tell you some disappointing news. We do not have a fresh market. We do not have a Trader Joe's. But there is a Trader Joe's on Tamiami Trail, and it's not too far from Venice. It takes about 20 minutes to get there, so it's not that bad of a drive. It's a straight shot up 41, and it's no big deal. And it's right across the street from where Walt's Fish Market is, which is another great little hidden secret. You can go there and eat, or you can buy fresh fish and take it home and cook it at home. Last year for New Year's Eve, my sister-in-law was in town, and we went to Walt's and we got a couple of different fish and some shrimp and came home and made it. And it was so good. The shrimp that we got was the biggest shrimp I think I've ever had. It was so filling, but everything just tasted amazing. So these are some things that I'm loving about living down here in the Venice area. But another bonus thing about living here is that you still get to enjoy all the culture that Sarasota has to offer. At the Van Wessel, they constantly have different shows performing, concerts, ballet. They have a Nutcracker coming up. Derek Hoff is going to be performing, which I think is pretty cool. Just a long list of great things that you can go check out there. But, you know, I took our family to the Ringling Brothers Museum. We got to walk through that. That was really cool, and see, you know, Mabel and John Ringling's home that they bought there on the Sarasota Bay. It's absolutely stunning. There's a lot of stuff right there that you can go check out and just enjoy the ballet or whenever it, you know, blows your boat. But you're definitely going to love living in Venice if this sounds like things that you like. And if you like living close to the beach, then you're only 15 minutes away. No matter where you live in Venice, Welland Park is really the furthest away from the beach, and it's about a 15 to 20 minute drive to get right to the middle of downtown Venice, right where the beach is. So that has been the absolute best thing, and my kids are just absolutely thriving here. My daughter was having such a hard time making friends back in Orlando and just having a lot of cattiness and fake friend stuff going on. Just kind of some girls were really snobbish. So it was really a big red flag for my husband and I. And since she's moved here and gotten into the Young Marine program and played sports, she's playing softball now, she has just thrived. She's made some great friends in the Young Marine program and on her softball team. So, you know, and my son too. My son was actually upset because he had some great friends back home and he didn't really want to leave them. And he was really kind of upset with us for a little while. But as soon as he started playing sports, when he started playing baseball, I feel like that was it. That's when he let go of Orlando. He's made so many more new friends here that are quality friends. He goes fishing all the time with his friends. That's his newest hobby he's picked up. He's fishing in all the lakes, but now he's obsessed with fishing in the ocean and catching things that we can actually take home and eat. Yes, my son's becoming an angler, and I absolutely love it. I think it's great. That's definitely one of the reasons why we moved here. So we're definitely enjoying it. But if you're thinking about moving here with a family and you have any questions, make sure you reach out to me, because I definitely know what communities you want to look at and where would be great areas to suggest if you're moving here with a family and you want to have friends in the neighborhood for your kids to play with. So make sure you reach out to me. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email when you are moving here, because I have you covered. All right, I will see you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.